Love takes place on the mental plane, but love finds its expression on the physical plane. So we have the symbols of laughing and weeping, which represents the expansion of laughing and the contraction of weeping. Expansion of what and contraction of what? Try to answer the question to yourself. We can say self-expansion and self-contraction, because the expansion of mind is also symbolic and it's not the beginning, and the contraction of the mind is also symbolic. The person expands and the person contracts when he laughs and when he weeps, and the expression of life is natural when there is expansion, and it's unnatural when there is contraction. We can symbolically express that expansion and contraction correspond with what we call life and death. At least we can understand that a person is happy when he is expanding and he is unhappy when he is contracting. This is because a person wants to be happy and he doesn't want to be unhappy. The natural preference of a person to be happy indicates that what he calls happiness corresponds with expansion, and he prefers to have it. And what he calls contraction, what he calls unhappiness, corresponds with contraction, and he naturally prefers not to have it. Every one of us wants to be happy, and we try to avoid unhappiness. Directly it indicates that happiness is natural and unhappiness is unnatural. And if we observe the face of a newly born child when his tongue is touched with coffee, we find an expression of contraction in the face. And when honey is touched, we find an expression of expansion. This unfailingly proves that neither the touch of honey nor the touch of coffee is totally a conditioned reflex. It's not a conditioned reflex. There is something else in it, and the difference is more absolute than it appears to be. We have to accept that the child desires to have a touch of honey and disdains to have a touch of coffee. And yet, a person like me craves for coffee. I feel very much happy when I find good coffee. This happiness, which is cultivated, is quite different from the happiness that the child shows. So, we can very easily understand the power of habit. Habit controls the mind in such a way that through slow degrees it forces the mind to accept that it is happiness. The same thing we have to accept about alcoholism and narcotism, etc. No doubt, alcohol makes people happy. No one can deny it. But the happiness is a force of habit, or what the habit makes us call it happiness.